Hi, everybody. Yeah, welcome to another Meet Devs. Today we have Skylar and then Garrett Swanson, our UI engineer, and then Troy, also a game designer, who you guys have met before. And then today we're just going to talk about the new alpha playtest, which will go up tomorrow, I think at 2 p.m. Pacific. And yeah, maybe Skylar, go ahead. Let's talk. You could talk about what's new.
Sure. Yeah, we're gonna have a couple of really interesting topics today. First off, we're gonna start with some gem socketing and jewel crafting information from Swanson. We're gonna be talking about an ossuary, which is a new lodge module, a new weapon called the Death Ball, and a few new changes to AI as well as some new creatures as well. We'll start it off with Garrett.
Oh man, let me full screen this. Yeah, so I'm a UI engineer on the team. I'm kind of just here to introduce you guys to a couple new features. I haven't done this before, so bear with me if I stumble over my words a little bit. But I am really excited to tell you guys about these things. So the first one here, we have the gem socketing feature. I don't know if this was, I think the page was available in the Alpha 4 playtest, but in this playtest, you'll actually be able to get gems and actually socket things. So for an overview for people who aren't familiar with it, the basic idea is weapons will have sockets on them sometimes. Rings, for example, all have one socket on them. Lots of equipment has sockets on them that you can put gems in. It's rarity blue and up. So like blue will have one socket, purple will have two, and I think there's three on the higher level gear. And then, the other part of that is actually being able to get gems. So you can now find gems in adventure mode. You can pick them up in chests and stuff. There are some that are from quest rewards and things like that. And you can basically go to the jewel crafter here and kind of put those gems into those sockets to get buffs. So you have lots of different types of gems. Some give like off the top of my head, I think there's like a block recharge thing. There's damage reduction, health. I'm sure somebody who knows all the numbers probably knows all of them, but there's a lot. There's more than I was able to keep track of when I was implementing this. So yeah, what else do we have here? Oh yeah, you can also go to the jewel crafter, and in the craft tab, you can cut the raw gems that you find into like usable socketable gems. So, sometimes in matches you might find like just a sapphire or like a ruby, and those aren't, anything on their own. But if you go to the jewel crafter, she can cut them to kind of give you, actual stats on those. Then you can use them to socket. And the last bullet point I had here is that gems persist through upgrades. So if you upgrade your weapon, you actually keep the gems on it. You don't have to worry about those disappearing. Yeah, that's kind of a quick run through of socketing. I'm sure we'll do questions probably at the end, so we're probably good to go to the next slide here, and I can talk about the next feature. So this is the ossuary. This is another lodge module that we've made. The idea of the ossuary is it's kind of this box that you put things in, like kind of maybe body parts like ears, things like loot from undead, like bone dust and splintered femurs, I think is one of them. And you put them in this box, and every cycle, it'll actually convert those items into a buff that you get. So I don't know if we can zoom into the picture here, but what it's showing is we've got like 3 ears, and 3 ears at level 1 is enough to actually get the first buff, which will give you, I think it's 5% reputation. And if you keep putting in more stuff, if you upgrade your ossuary further, you can put more stuff in there to get an even stronger buff. So it goes 5, 10, 15, and the buff it gives you in this case is reputation earned by vendors. So experience for your vendors. I'm not sure if we're going to have other buffs in the future, but I'll get back to that. Let's see. So yeah, you acquire offerings in adventure mode. By the way, it's worth noting that ears are a lot more valuable than the other loot. If you put ears in the ossuary, that's going to give you a lot more progress than bone dust. Bone dust doesn't give you much at all. Yeah, so every cycle, which is going to be every day for our next alpha playtest coming up, Alpha 5. But in early access, it's going to be every week is a cycle. So every time the cycle changes, you get that buff, and that buff persists until the next cycle. So in this example, I put 3 years in, I get the 5% reputation buff. Whenever the cycle ends, it eats up those years. I get the buff of 5% reputation earned, and that buff will last for the day, basically, the next day until the next offering happens. Yeah, and you can upgrade your ossuary a little further to kind of get more powerful buffs. You can only start out getting, the 5% reputation buff, but if you upgrade to level 2, then you can put in more ears to get 10 and whatnot. The last bullet point I had here was just to mention, this is from one of our designers, just worth mentioning that this is version 1.0. So we're definitely, interested in feedback to hear what you guys think about this, because it may change, it may not. But yeah, this is version 1.0 for this playtest.
Yeah, it's a good
that's it
stint
for the ossuary.
for, I think maybe even goblin ears and other like monster parts and stuff that you find throughout the world. You could probably put it into the ossuary. So it's a good dump for some of these other items. So basically, yeah, we're just creating a lot more systems that utilize a lot more items in the world to make everything feel useful and valuable.
The next thing is the Death Ball, the new warrior weapon. And we're super excited about this weapon because it's the final weapon for the kind of 3 weapon kits of all the classes. Or actually, I'm sorry, the rogue has one more. But this is the final one for the warrior, and its goals are basically to deal pretty high damage at a decent reach, good range, and deal some pretty large hit reacts. Their fantasy is really kind of wielding a giant morning star. So you can imagine, this sketch on the top right, like swinging this thing around and waving this giant wrecking ball or death ball around the enemies in the map and dealing some really heavy damage. The downsides are that it has pretty long windup and recovery behavior or animations. It's pretty poor at AoE, but there are a couple opportunities to do that. And it doesn't combo well because of how heavy and so we'll love to, show you in just a little bit. But my game is unfortunately still downloading. But in the meantime, I'm going to talk to you exactly about all the abilities. There's a 3-hit combo that just kind of swings the attacks left and right, like most other melee weapons. A charged, powerful attack that slams down in front of the warrior. A block ability that acts similar to the mace's shield. You can hold the wrecking ball in front of you. I'm sorry, the death ball in front of you, and prevent damage. And a technical that once you are blocking with that weapon, throws the wrecking ball, death ball out in front of the player for a medium range attack. Let's see. There's also a special ability which throws it as a projectile, and it will actually land in the world. You can call it back with another special ability input, and it'll deal damage both ways. There's a sprint attack that is sort of the primary AoE effect. It's very similar to the Axe's Wind Strike. It'll actually do a spin as you're sprinting. And it's pretty fun to kind of fly into a group of enemies and do that attack. But you are spending some sprint and also going to be stopped in the middle of that group by the end of it. So let's see. The last 2 are a jump attack, which slams down the death ball on the ground below you. Deals a small AoE. It'll do damage around you, but it's not too much. But it does some pretty good damage still. And an evade attack, which actually drop kicks the target, or he kind of throws the death ball in front of him. It lands on the ground, and then he drop kicks the opponent in front of him. It's really fun. It just feels super good. So I'm just watching the chat here. It sounds like people are going to like it.
Yeah, I think, we try to make one of the weapons on each class be kind of unique that we haven't seen in a lot of games, and really excited for this one because I can't think of another game that had a weapon like this. And so, yeah, it's pretty fun. It's turned into one of my favorite weapons in the game for sure.
So the next item is new enemies. We're going to have some spiders, some, a wraith, and some new tiers of these enemies. So right now we've kind of played with what we're calling the normal tier of enemies. They are going to be across the map still, but you might find that they're a little bit easier in comparison to these new tiers of elites and specials. elites are kind of a +1 to normals, and the specials are sort of not quite many bosses, but harder versions of these enemies that you'll find have better loot and things. We don't want to go too deep into this, but we are also going to be making some changes to the AI behavior, so hopefully they feel better to fight. And look forward to any feedback on these AI as well.
Yeah, I would say one thing that we're doing, I mean, obviously we go from a really kind of smaller bestiary to basically times it by 3, maybe even 4 or something like that. And so, there will be some kinks with it in terms of like where they're spawned and also, the difficulty and tuning, the loot. So this is where, really this playtest is one of the biggest things is getting feedback for this increased bestiary. So really would love the community's feedback on this and how we feel about where they're spawned, the encounter, what they drop, and these sort of things.
Yeah, I'm going to drop it to this slide while I load in.
Yeah, this one's really fast. I just have some small things on here. There was a lot of class changes, like balance tunings. We fixed a lot of bugs with perks, and those will all be in the patch notes that you guys will be able to read later. Feel free to ask us questions, in our chats here and stuff. You guys have more in-depth questions about any of the upcoming balance changes, but some of the other cool stuff at a higher level though is probably one of the biggest things. The rogue now has an energy bar similar like the priest hunter, and all of his class skills use energy, and currently for this playtest they have no cooldown as well, so that'll be a big change. It's really going to change the flow of how the rogue plays quite a bit. And yeah, we definitely would like to get feedback from you guys, and hopefully you can find all the crazy combos now without those restrictions. We worked on the jump attacks on the rogue. I'll try to show these too once we all jump in game to demo some stuff. To be kind of similar to how you guys might have seen when we improved the jump attacks on the warriors. So if you jump off a really high point, it'll keep going until you hit the ground. We added footstep VFX. This was the only screenshot I could get very quickly of just walking on a test water plane, but that's what it'll look like. We'll run around and show these two, where there's little dirt clouds and you're walking on dirt, and there's these ripples when you walk on water, and some rock chunks when you walk on rocks. We also added a loot taker to the UI. Is something else really cool that was added. We'll show that as well. It's it's where when you pick up loot, it shows on the side what you just received. So that was pretty cool addition. Yeah, I think that was big things. I'll show you guys some cool stuff too. We decided on how we decided the footsteps would work with stealth on the rogue. The water footsteps show, but not the other ones. So if you're trying to track a rogue in stealth, you probably want to try to lure them through some water, some puddles. So you can... That's it for me.
Nice.
Slides.
I'm gonna swap to the game right now. So
yeah, one note with the rogue changes is we're trying to transition. So the rogue has never had energy previously. Energy basically is the resource used essentially to regulate cooldowns. For example, the priest, she doesn't have cooldowns on some of her abilities, but essentially you have cooldowns because they have a resource cost. And so it's better to have a resource cost with cooldowns rather than just an arbitrary cooldown, because then you can manipulate the resource and change the cooldown rate and stuff like that. So it might be, a rough landing with the rogues changes, but it's just a process, and we'll iterate and make sure it's not broken or crazy. But it'll just mean that you'll have more flexibility to do interesting stuff with the class going forward. There's a lot of improvements to just the level art in the world as well, and so we're getting kind of very close to being done with Greenwood. The remainder is just kind of doing some of the castle areas. So let us know any feedback with those areas as well, if you get caught up on the terrain or things like that.
all right. So yeah, you just saw the 3-hit combo, the Wrecking Ball. It's pretty powerful. It looks really awesome. This is the power attack. the blocking and technical attack, and sprinting attack. Some more enemies. And
Oh, you'll get
I
out by that.
don't know, bait
Thank you.
attack. So that's the drop kick. It's pretty fun to use. Drop kick this guy. Oh, launched it. So it's really good against blocking enemies because it deals a ton of block damage. Oh, what the heck? And if you're paying attention to your health like should be, it's a powerful weapon.
Wait, where are you at, Skylar?
I am
Oh, okay. I ran
by
past
the
you.
Morthog lair.
Okay.
Where are you at? I can meet you.
I'm coming to you. You just keep showing off the death ball.
Oh yeah, and the jump attacks. Oh man. Oh man.
Oh, cheater.
We're just gonna be cheating again. I know. So that's the special
I
as
think
well.
I'm in the same rooms.
Alright, I'm in the middle. Oh yeah, I see.
I don't know how to turn the speed sheets off. That's me.
Oh man, you're cheating too. Yeah. Devs.
Yeah, I think my favorite part about the weapon is that evade kick. It's pretty cool.
I think I'm on a different server than you guys.
Where are you? What's your match timer at?
Yeah.
You can beat me up, Skylar.
Where are you?
I'm in
Fight me.
that ruins you were just in.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I guess Monson, you could show us some of the rogue stuff, like jump attack. Well, you guys are
Oh no,
fighting.
you vanished. Oh no, you got me. Oh man, I blocked just in the wrong time. But you did.
I was unmuted. You
Yeah,
guys
so
heard my
Skylar,
name
what is
breathing.
the block value on this versus the Mason shield? Is it
That's a
different
great
or?
question. So right now the Death Ball's block is 6. It's a little lower actually than the Mace's 8. You combo those together, it feels pretty good. Do you
Yeah,
want
one
to
of the best
switch to
things with
your
the weapon,
screen?
I think, is that it kind of you knock players back with a lot of the attacks, and then you also have this mid-range throw. So you kind of want to just kind of do damage to them, knock them away, and then do range damage, and then charge them again. It has like some skill depth to it.
Yeah, but you can see it's got very long windups and cooldowns. It's hard to fight this guy when he's so close because I have such a long, windup for these attacks. Sometimes he just interrupts me. So it's definitely an interesting change for the warriors combos, or for the warriors attacks. Where are you?
Yeah, maybe Skylar,
Going
show the
invisible.
like the trait that you get for it. For
Okay.
the perk, I mean. On the
For
item.
which one? So
For the
this
death spell,
one,
yeah.
this one is just a
A junk
basic
one.
one.
Okay.
I could pick a different one. Let's see. So we also have a perk that's gonna, while you're enraged, add a 30% chance to crit opponents. This is actually, I think is this the first time that we've actually had crits on a melee weapon?
No, there's
I'm not
another
thinking.
there's a mace shield that has similar effect.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, that's the Skull Crusher one, right? I think. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a really cool one. Let's see. And Steve. So we also have Iron Spike Menace, which actually increases the distance of your chain pull ability. So this is the one chain pull ability by about 50%, which is pretty cool when it's equipped. And then a Tenderizer, which while being attacked, you're gonna, or I guess while blocking and being attacked, your technical attack can potentially be increased by 30%. Can you actually hit me right now? Or wait, hold on. So I'm going to do this attack, and you can see it doesn't quite go past the wall. But if you hit me now, while I'm blocking, okay, and then just back away real quick, it's going to go a little bit further, and you can see it actually goes beyond the wall. But it only works for one. Should only work for one swing. I'll have to look at that. That might be a bug. Yeah, they're pretty cool weapons. And again, it's a ton of fun to kind of range someone and then deal some really heavy damage on them if you get the right hit on them.
Yeah, looking at this weapon now, what we'll probably do is add some sort of like VFX so you know it procs when you get hit to empower you. But yeah, I think in theory it could also work with blocking range attacks too. So it could be good versus like hunters or priests, etc.
Yeah. And it's not great for AoE, but you do have this sprint attack ability, which is pretty fun to just run into crowds with.
Yeah, and as you guys know, warriors are unique in that they can carry two weapons at once. So now that it's the warrior up to this point has always just had two weapons, just the mace and then the axe, and now he has a third weapon. So now you can create different kind of builds. So very curious to see what players will do, like what's optimal. Um, uh, Whether or not you do mace and death ball or death ball and axe, etc. One of the biggest differences between the death ball and the axe is just the axe obviously has two kind of kits on the left and or move sets with the left and right click. The right click's more of a single target and the left click's more AoE. And then the AoE on the axe is kind of the best in the game in terms of just melee. So that's the sort of strength versus death ball, which is really about kind of disruption and has block does a lot of single target damage, but it's slow. So yeah, really interesting to see how these go.
Definitely. Garrett or Troy, do you guys want to take over screen share and share anything with the road?
Yeah, I think I think I was able to show it most just by your screen share already. Here's the jump attack on the daggers.
Oh,
Oh, he
guys' arms are
had noodle
spinning.
legs. Hang on, let me try to get closer to you.
That's pretty cool.
So he lunges forward, and we've got
Like a dive attack.
here's the sword one. Right, if I climb up here. All right, then I jump off. It'll like continue the whole time. Pretty fun. We could go walk over to the water and show off the cool new water footsteps.
Yeah, sure. Let's find some.
Yeah, we gotta find like
Oh,
little
I think
puddles in
there's
the
some right
ground.
here. Yeah.
I think the river might be like way steep, so it might.
Is this? Yeah, you can
Oh,
go right
yeah.
here.
We got
Nice.
steps for it too. And then if I go stealth,
You can still see him, but you don't hear him.
yeah, I hear the
Nice.
footsteps. You can see the water ones.
You guys might also notice the dirt footsteps underneath my feet, or all of our feet actually, just in the dirt. Do we have it for
Yeah.
different materials as well?
We just have the rocks
Wood.
and the dirt right now. Yeah, so there's the stone ones and the water, and the dirt. Little details.
Cool. Well, I think we could open it up for questions if you guys want.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to see what everyone does with a death ball. It might be a little overtuned in the beginning, and we'll figure it out. Yeah, if anyone has any questions about any of this or anything else in general, just feel free to raise your hand or you can message something in the chat. And happy to answer any questions for the second part of the deaths. Yeah, we also just changed this menu too recently, like the pause menu. Yeah, a lot of stuff with the UI as well. We've been updating, and so getting very close to the one last thing we're going to be working on is the HUD here. So the HUD is like, the health bars and the action bars and that sort of thing. So we're going to improve that too very soon. One other thing too that will be in the build is the layer of Morgsog, which is like the ogre boss.
Oh yeah,
We've
we are
improved
right here.
the art of him and like working on the encounter right now. So he'll be kind of like more of a true boss that you'll want to gear up for. One of his main attacks, I think, is just normals now do poison damage. So you really kind of want to bring like poison cleansing potions or kind of really think about poison as an effect when you fight him. Yeah, this isn't Morgdoc here, it's just kind of another ogre in here.
Here's the Ogre King. Oh, he's
You
doing
gotta do
his...
probably no aggro, Skylar, just so that
Yeah.
you're just gonna die.
So this is
We're all
definitely
dying.
a group event.
So we're still
Oh yeah,
working
he's
on this
got
encounter,
ads now.
but one of the things that he will
Yeah.
do is like spawn the goblin waves to attack you. So you really kind of want to spread out and kind of deal with those as you're fighting him.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Oh, that's new. We are working on this level space a little bit. I think we see a couple problems where we get stuck on some of this terrain, and we're just trying to level it out and make it more like a arena, I think. And like Chris said, as we get some more feedback on his combat, hopefully some of this fight will improve and continue to feel more fun. So he's glowing because he's technically leashing. And there's a bug right now where when he leashes, it just turns him orange permanently. So hopefully that'll be fixed soon. But he won't be glowing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, he left the cave.
Oh, we could also go. We go to like the graveyard.
Sure, yeah. You want to see the skeletons? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was one more change. Different enemies will have like dormancy states. So when you find new enemies in an area, you might see that they're actually sitting down or laying down or crawling out of the ground now, which would be really fun. Right now, I think skeletons are the ones with most of the animations. Goblins will have one or two. Yeah, should see them on all skeletons though, so it'll be fun. So these guys are sitting. You can see they're not yet aggroed, but as soon as we start fighting them, or otherwise wake them. So this is two elites and an unarmed skeleton here. You can tell they're elites by their clothes. They have some armor, but they're not specials because we know that they're not big and red and scary. The elites sometimes also deal poison or rot damage. Sorry. So when you're fighting these guys, be sure to bring in some potions to prevent that or help heal it.
Oh yeah. There's a mage.
Yeah, so this is an elite mage. I think the two of us kind of just choose him. Oh, I can't. Or will I be not meant to?
Yeah, so this area and then the other castle areas are the final areas that we're finishing. So like all the ground and the flooring and stuff like that will be fixed up and changed.
Oh.
So there's a question about the wizard or the mage, rather, I guess. Somebody asked. So yeah, we're working on the wizard right now. Actually, we just kind of got like the look and kind of the armor sets and stuff like that and so the design is kind of in a good spot. So we're currently building them right now. So yeah, we'll probably be able to share details about that in the Meet the Devs in the near future.
So it doesn't have stagger resist, but it's got a pretty good amount of block. If I am fighting this guy, oh no, I ran out of stamina. This is a special skeleton. Let's see, can I get him to hit me? Yeah, so if he hits me and I'm not blocking, I've just been walking around kind of blocking the whole time. You're a little slower, but man, is it nice to have block.
Yeah, somebody asked if there's better loot in the key rooms. I think we did do a pass of the key rooms, right, Troy? Is it in the pass notes or no?
I'm not totally sure about that.
Okay.
John
It was
that.
it was a goal I think we're doing to update those rooms. So I'll find out about that.
So these guys are going to be really hard. That is another change, is that these elite and special enemies are very, very damaging and pretty high health. How do you guys land off of the warrior weapon? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I thought of another very exciting feature we can show everybody that they'll be stoked on. The trees. Trees are no longer RNG loot. If you see like a tree, it represents the type of wood it'll actually drop.
Let's see if we can find some of those. In the meantime, someone asked, how did you land on the death ball for the warrior weapon? Chris, might be a good question for you to answer since you're here.
That's a good question. I don't know. It was just kind of inspiration sprung, I guess. I think we want to do something like a Morning Star. We always want to do something like that, and I was thinking about how can we punch it up to differentiate to make it different, something that no one's seen before. So we just increased the size, and yeah, internally we called it the wrecking ball for a long time.
Yeah,
So
sorry,
it
that's
has
why I
a
kept
lot of
saying
the,
that.
yeah, it kind of really does feel like a wrecking ball for sure. Um, Also, Cole, um, principal artist at the studio, he concepted a big, huge morning star on the warrior a long time ago. It was one of my favorite concepts, so I always thought about that too. So, yeah, kind of the one that Skylar showed in the presentation. Yeah, the warrior one skill, the iron grip, it's the same with the death ball. Those are separate. However, if you do get, I forget which one it is. I think that the menace one, Iron Spike Menace, I think it is. That one does increase the range of chain pull. I noticed a lot of warriors requested that as like a trait or something like that, and so now you have it as like a perk for one of the weapons. So it really kind of meshes well with the kit of the weapon, uh, which is yeah, fighting at ranged and you know, morning a ball and a chain, that sort of thing.
Oops.
And these new archers are tough. See, is this a tree now? So you saw if I mined that tree, I got some wood from it, and just like these, you'll know kind of like what you're getting out of them when you harvest them.
Yeah, somebody asked about the next rogue weapon. We do have an idea for the next rogue weapon. It is, I think Skylar's actually going to be working on that as well. We're not ready yet to talk about it, but it will be another one of these weapons that is very different.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Do you guys want to go in that dungeon or?
If you want. I don't know how many of the enemies we want to spoil.
I know. Yeah, we've seen quite a few of the skeletons. We haven't seen any of the goblins yet, so we can see.
Yeah, someone asked, have we considered rules for the farm or the new map, like no gear drop, but just the inventory? So we are going to have multiple maps in the future. Last week, you met Colin, Volrath, and Tessa, and they talked a little bit about the level design of Greenwood, and then also about future maps that we're working on. One is the tutorial map, which is kind of like the intro experience, and so it's kind of the safe area where players can just explore the combat system, the move set, these sort of things. One of the biggest things you guys have said in feedback is just that the game needs some sort of like onboarding or something so players can safely figure out the game without zoning in a PvP map. And so it's basically essentially a solo PvE map that you can kind of test your kit and abilities and all these sort of things. So that is the next thing we're working on. And then after that will be a full-fledged mainstay farm map, which will be a lot smaller than Greenwood, but still substantial. And then there, that map will be like more of a newbie map than Greenwood. So the encounters there will be a little bit easier, and there'll be new different creature types and that sort of thing in there. So yes, we are going to have different loot in different types of areas. All right, let's see some other questions. Yeah, will the roadmap be updated for 2025? Yes. So post EA obviously will be kind of 2025. It will still be part of 2025. So you can just kind of expect most of that on there to happen from 2025 and beyond. And then we'll probably update that and add some more details of things as we get further along.
But you can see the new items. When I pick up the frog, you can see there's a nice toast on the right side for how many I picked up
yeah.
and what it is.
Yeah, the team loves the loot ticker and the water splashes. It's small things in life.
How about the tree spawns? They're not exactly like the ore spawns. It's random which type of tree spawns in some different areas. Some of them are static, but some areas it'll randomize between like the white level wood or the green level tree or the blue one. But it is similar to the ore spawns now, where what you see is what you get.
Are there any more trees nearby? I don't see any.
We got to go north to like the road.
Okay.
There's like a ton on the main road up there north of the Wolf Den. That's what you're looking
Yeah,
for.
Killmaster asked about skill-based matchmaking MMR. We don't have any plans just yet. I assume as the game grows and skill differences happen, it will be something we'll evaluate. But nothing really to talk about that just yet.
Oh no, we only have 2 minutes to extract.
But yeah, well, awesome. There's a lot of really good questions here. As a reminder, the playtest will begin tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific. And if you participated in the previous playtest, of course, you'll be able to just be able to join this one automatically in Steam as you have before. And it's really going to be our last main alpha playtest before early access, so it's a really important one, and we still have a lot of other work to go here, improving some of the AI and creatures and spawning, and then as well as just fixing other bugs, and then finishing out some of the remaining stuff on the map, specifically the castle and some of these other areas. But yeah, really excited. First playtest of the year.
Oh. And a dividend. No. We're gonna make it to the extract, guys. 40 seconds, even if it takes some cheating.
Yeah, somebody asked about infinite charge on warrior with no cooldown. Yeah, again, warrior charge costs rage. So if you can't infinitely charge with the warrior on rage, that just means that rage has some issues that we have to polish, and so we'll look at that. But yeah, I think if you use the warhorn, if you have really high rage, you can charge a lot.
That was vile. He killed me at the last second.
I think it's just a UI bug. I don't think he died.
Yeah, this is another new UI as well, the you died one. So when you extract or die, there's a new interface now that we're working on. All right, I think we're kind of at the close here for the Meet the Devs. Yeah, looking forward to everyone playtesting tomorrow. Bye, everybody.